Welcome to Wisdom Audiobooks. Have you ever wondered why, despite trying so hard, you still feel unappreciated or disrespected by others? The truth is, until you truly respect yourself, no one else will. This audiobook unveils the transformative power of self-respect and how it can reshape your relationships, career, and overall happiness. Introduction. The audiobook Until You Respect Yourself, Nobody Else Will is written and published by Wisdom Audiobooks. Let me start by acknowledging something we all know deep down but often ignore. Life can be tough when you don't feel valued. Many of you listening right now might be struggling with low self-esteem, toxic relationships, or societal pressures. You may feel lost, overwhelmed, or even question your worth. Some of you might have faced moments where you felt invisible, dismissed, or taken advantage of. As Oprah Winfrey once said, "You alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anybody." Yet many of us find ourselves trapped in a cycle of seeking approval from others instead of embracing our true selves. This audiobook dives deep into these challenges, helping you recognize the root causes of disrespect and guiding you toward reclaiming your self-worth. We understand what you're going through because we've been there too. It's not easy to stand up for yourself when you're constantly bombarded with external expectations. Whether it's the pressure to succeed at work, maintain perfect relationships, or live up to societal standards, the struggle is real. But here's the good news: you hold the key to change. You deserve to be respected, not just by others but first and foremost by yourself. Through this audiobook, you'll learn practical strategies to build self-respect, set boundaries, and cultivate confidence. We'll guide you step by step on how to silence your inner critic, overcome toxic patterns, and create a life filled with purpose and meaning. By the end of this journey, you'll have the tools to transform your mindset and improve every aspect of your life, from personal relationships to professional achievements. Stay tuned because every chapter brings you closer to a more empowered version of yourself. Remember, as Eleanor Roosevelt famously said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." Your wisdom journey starts here. Chapter 1: Understanding Self-Respect. In this chapter, we explore what self-respect truly means and why it's the foundation for all meaningful relationships, with yourself and others. By understanding the essence of self-respect, you'll be better equipped to recognize its absence in your life and take the first steps toward cultivating it. As Aristotle once said, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom." Let's begin this journey by unraveling the core principles of self-respect. 1. What is self-respect? Self-respect is the cornerstone of personal empowerment. It's about honoring your values, acknowledging your needs, and standing firm in your boundaries. At its core, self-respect means treating yourself with the same kindness, care, and dignity that you would extend to someone you deeply admire. To put it simply, self-respect is the belief that you are worthy of love, respect, and happiness, not because of external achievements or validation but because of who you inherently are as a human being. Maya Angelou, one of the most inspiring voices of our time, captured this beautifully when she said, "I respect myself and insist upon it from everybody else." Let's break this down further. Values. These are the principles that guide your decisions and actions. When you respect yourself, you live in alignment with these values, even when it's difficult. For example, if honesty is one of your core values, self-respect means speaking your truth, even in challenging situations. Needs. Everyone has emotional, physical, and mental needs. Self-respect involves recognizing these needs and prioritizing them without guilt. Whether it's taking time to rest, pursuing a passion, or setting limits in relationships, honoring your needs is a form of self-love. Boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible lines that protect your energy, time, and well-being. They define what behavior you will accept from others and what you won't tolerate. Without boundaries, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, resentful, or disrespected. When you have self-respect, you naturally exude confidence and authenticity. People around you sense this energy and respond accordingly. As Mahatma Gandhi wisely stated, "The moment you start respecting yourself, the world respects you." 2. Signs of low self-respect. Unfortunately, many of us struggle with low self-respect without even realizing it. This often stems from past experiences, societal conditioning, or negative thought patterns. Recognizing these signs is the first step toward change. Here are some common indicators. Allowing others to take advantage of you. Do you find yourself constantly bending over backward to please others? Perhaps you say yes to requests that drain your energy or compromise your values. This pattern reflects a lack of self-respect because you're placing others' needs above your own. Seeking validation from external sources. If you rely on compliments, likes, or approval from others to feel good about yourself, it's a sign that your self-worth is tied to external factors. While praise feels nice, it should never replace your internal sense of value. Feeling unworthy or inadequate. Do you frequently compare yourself to others and come up short? Do you doubt your abilities or feel like you don't deserve success or happiness? These feelings are red flags of low self-respect. Neglecting your own needs. Have you ever canceled plans with friends or skipped meals just to meet someone else's demands? Sacrificing your well-being for others might seem noble, but it ultimately erodes your self-respect. Staying in toxic relationships. Whether romantic, familial, or professional, toxic relationships thrive when one party lacks self-respect. If you tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or abuse, it's a clear sign that you need to rebuild your sense of worth. Take a moment to reflect. Do any of these behaviors resonate with you? If so, know that you're not alone. Millions of people face similar struggles, but the good news is that self-respect can be cultivated with awareness and effort. 3. Why people struggle with self-respect. Understanding the root causes of low self-respect is crucial for overcoming it. Let's explore some common factors that contribute to this challenge. Childhood experiences. Our early years shape how we view ourselves. If you grew up in an environment where criticism outweighed encouragement, you might internalize the belief that you're not good enough. For instance, children who are constantly told they're too loud, too quiet, or not smart enough may carry these labels into adulthood. Societal conditioning. Society often imposes unrealistic standards of beauty, success, and behavior. Women, in particular, are bombarded with messages about how they should look, act, and feel. Men, too, face pressure to conform to stereotypes of strength and stoicism. These expectations can lead to feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. Fear of rejection or abandonment. Many people avoid asserting themselves because they fear losing relationships or being rejected. This fear keeps them trapped in unhealthy dynamics where their needs go unmet. Unrealistic expectations placed on oneself. Perfectionism is another enemy of self-respect. When you set impossibly high standards, you're bound to fall short, and each failure chips away at your confidence. Consider the story of Sarah, a young woman I once worked with. She was brilliant, hardworking, and kind-hearted, yet she constantly felt unworthy of love and respect. Growing up, her parents had emphasized academic achievement over emotional connection, leaving her with a deep-seated belief that she wasn't enough. Over time, she attracted partners who mirrored this mindset, reinforcing her low self-esteem. It wasn't until she began unpacking these childhood wounds and practicing self-respect that she broke free from the cycle. 4. Building self-respect. Practical steps. Now that we've explored what self-respect is and identified the signs of its absence, let's dive into actionable steps you can take to cultivate it. Building self-respect is not an overnight process. It requires consistent effort and self-awareness. However, the rewards are transformative and long-lasting. Here's how you can start. Step 1. Practice self-awareness. The first step towards self-respect is understanding yourself deeply. Take time to reflect on your values, strengths, weaknesses, and emotional triggers. Journaling can be a powerful tool for this. Write down answers to questions like: what are my core values? When do I feel most confident and fulfilled? What situations make me feel disrespected or undervalued? Self-awareness allows you to identify areas where you're compromising your worth and empowers you to make changes. As Socrates famously said, "An unexamined life is not worth living." Examining your thoughts, behaviors, and patterns is essential for growth. Step 2. Challenge negative self-talk. We all have an inner critic, The voice that tells us we're not good enough, smart enough, or worthy enough. The problem arises when we believe these lies without questioning them. To build self-respect, you must learn to silence this destructive voice. Here's a simple exercise. Whenever you catch yourself thinking negatively about yourself, pause and ask, would I say this to someone I love? If the answer is no, replace the thought with something kinder and more constructive. For example, instead of saying, I'm such a failure, reframe it as, I'm learning and growing every day. This practice might feel awkward at first, but over time, it rewires your brain to focus on positivity and self-compassion. Step 3. Set boundaries. Boundaries are non-negotiable if you want to respect yourself. They communicate to others how you expect to be treated and protect your energy from being drained. Setting boundaries doesn't mean being selfish. It means honoring your needs and ensuring mutual respect in relationships. Start small. For instance, if a friend consistently cancels plans last minute, express your feelings calmly and assertively. You might say, I value our friendship, but repeated cancellations make me feel unimportant. Can we find a better way to plan? Remember, setting boundaries isn't about controlling others. It's about taking responsibility for your own well-being. Brené Brown, a renowned researcher on vulnerability and courage, emphasizes this point beautifully. Daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others. Step 4. Celebrate your strengths. Too often, we focus on our flaws while ignoring our strengths. Building self-respect involves shifting this perspective. Make a list of your accomplishments, talents, and qualities that make you unique. Keep this list somewhere visible, like your phone notes, or a sticky note on your mirror, so you can revisit it whenever self-doubt creeps in. For example, if you're great at listening, remind yourself how much comfort and support you provide to others through this skill. If you excel at problem-solving, acknowledge how this strength helps you navigate challenges. By celebrating your strengths, you reinforce the belief that you are valuable and capable. Step 5. Surround yourself with positivity. The people you spend time with significantly influence your self-perception. If you're surrounded by individuals who belittle or undermine you, it's nearly impossible to develop self-respect. On the other hand, supportive, uplifting relationships nurture your sense of worth. Evaluate your social circle. Are there people who consistently drain your energy or disrespect your boundaries? If so, consider creating distance. This doesn't mean cutting ties entirely. It could simply mean reducing contact or setting clearer limits. Simultaneously, seek out people who inspire and encourage you. Join communities aligned with your interests, attend workshops, or connect with mentors who embody the qualities you admire. Jim Rohn, a motivational speaker, once said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Choose wisely." 5. A story of transformation, from self-doubt to self-respect. Let me share a story that illustrates the power of building self-respect. It's about Michael, a man in his mid-30s who struggled with low self-esteem for years. Growing up, he was constantly compared to his older brother, who excelled academically and athletically. Despite working hard, Michael always felt overshadowed and inadequate. As an adult, Michael carried this mindset into his career and relationships. He avoided speaking up in meetings, fearing his ideas weren't good enough. In his personal life, he tolerated disrespectful behavior from friends and romantic partners because he didn't believe he deserved better. One day, after yet another argument with a dismissive partner, Michael hit rock bottom. He realized he couldn't continue living this way. Determined to change, he began practicing the steps we've discussed. Self-awareness. He journaled daily, uncovering deep-seated beliefs like, "I'll never measure up." Challenging negative self-talk, instead of calling himself incompetent. He reminded himself of past successes. Setting boundaries. He ended toxic relationships and communicated his needs clearly in new ones. Celebrating strengths. He acknowledged his creativity and leadership skills, which earned him promotions at work. Surrounding himself with positivity. He joined a local book club, where he met supportive, like-minded individuals. Over time, Michael transformed. He started advocating for himself confidently, both personally and professionally. Today, he runs his own business and enjoys healthy, fulfilling relationships. His journey proves that self-respect is not innate, it's cultivated through intentional effort. Closing thoughts on Chapter 1. Understanding self-respect is the foundation for everything else we'll discuss in this audiobook. Without it, you'll struggle to maintain healthy relationships, pursue your goals, or experience true happiness. Remember, self-respect begins with recognizing your inherent worth, not because of what you achieve but because of who you are. As you move forward, keep these words from Eleanor Roosevelt close to your heart. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. You hold the power to redefine how you see yourself, and consequently, how the world sees you. Chapter 2. The Roots of Disrespect. Understanding where disrespect comes from is key to overcoming it. In this chapter, we'll uncover the hidden factors that chip away at your self-worth, both internal struggles and external influences. By identifying these roots, you'll gain clarity on why you might be struggling with self-respect and how to address them effectively. As Carl Jung wisely said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Let's bring these unconscious patterns into the light. 1. Internal factors, the enemy within. Sometimes the greatest source of disrespect doesn't come from others, it comes from within. These internal factors are deeply ingrained and often go unnoticed, but they play a significant role in shaping how you view yourself. 1.1. Negative self-talk. Negative self-talk is one of the most destructive forces when it comes to self-respect. It's that relentless inner voice that criticizes your every move, magnifies your mistakes, and minimizes your achievements. For example, after giving a presentation at work, instead of acknowledging your effort, you might think, "I sounded so awkward. Everyone probably thought I was incompetent." Over time, this habit erodes your confidence and convinces you that you're unworthy of respect. To combat negative self-talk, start by becoming aware of it. Pay attention to the words you use when speaking to yourself. Are they kind, encouraging, or harsh and demeaning? Once you notice these patterns, challenge them. Replace thoughts like, "I'm not good enough," with affirmations such as, "I am capable and worthy of success." Nelson Mandela once said, "It always seems impossible until it is done." This reminds us that even our harshest self-doubts can be overcome with persistence and belief in ourselves. 1.2. Limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are assumptions about yourself or the world that hold you back. They often stem from past experiences, societal conditioning, or fear of failure. Common examples include, "I'm not smart enough to succeed. People like me don't get opportunities. If I fail, everyone will judge me." These beliefs create a mental barrier that prevents you from taking risks or pursuing your dreams. To break free, question their validity. Ask yourself, is this belief based on facts or assumptions? What evidence contradicts this belief? How would my life change if I let go of this belief? For instance, Sarah, a young entrepreneur, believed she wasn't cut out for leadership because she had never held a managerial position. However, when she challenged this belief and took small steps toward leading her team, she discovered untapped potential within herself. Her story proves that limiting beliefs are just that, beliefs, not truths. 1.3. Perfectionism and fear of failure. Perfectionism is another insidious enemy of self-respect. When you set impossibly high standards, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Every mistake feels like a catastrophe, reinforcing the idea that you're inadequate. This mindset also leads to procrastination, as you avoid tasks out of fear they won't meet your unrealistic expectations. Instead of striving for perfection, aim for progress. Accept that mistakes are part of growth. As Winston Churchill famously stated, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts." Embrace imperfection as proof that you're human, and that you're trying. 2. External influences, the world around you. While internal factors shape how you perceive yourself, external influences can reinforce feelings of inadequacy and disrespect. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for reclaiming your self-worth. 2.1 Toxic relationships. Toxic relationships are breeding grounds for disrespect. Whether romantic, familial, or professional, these connections thrive on imbalance and manipulation. A toxic partner might belittle your opinions, dismiss your feelings, or guilt-trip you into staying. Similarly, a controlling boss might micromanage you or take credit for your work. The longer you stay in such relationships, the more your self-esteem suffers. Breaking free requires courage and clarity. Start by identifying red flags, such as constant criticism, lack of support, or emotional manipulation. Then, take small steps toward distancing yourself. Remember, you deserve relationships that uplift and empower you. A poignant reminder comes from Maya Angelou. You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. Surround yourself with people who respect and value you. 2.2 Societal pressures and unrealistic standards. Society bombards us with images of perfection, perfect bodies, perfect careers, perfect lives. Social media amplifies this pressure, making it easy to compare ourselves unfavorably to others. Women are told they must look youthful and slender. Men are expected to be stoic providers. These unrealistic standards create a culture of inadequacy and self-doubt. To resist societal pressures, focus on authenticity rather than conformity. Define success and happiness on your own terms. Ask yourself, what truly matters to me? Whose approval am I seeking, and why? How can I celebrate my uniqueness instead of comparing myself to others? As Ralph Waldo Emerson beautifully put it, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Stay true to who you are, and let go of what society demands. 3. How these factors interact, a vicious cycle. Understanding individual factors is important, but it's equally crucial to see how they intertwine and reinforce each other. Often, internal struggles and external influences create a vicious cycle that perpetuates feelings of disrespect and low self-worth. Let's break this down step by step. Step 1. External influences fuel internal doubts. Imagine someone who grows up in an environment where their parents constantly criticize them for not being perfect. Over time, this person internalizes these criticisms, believing they're inherently flawed. This belief manifests as negative self-talk and limiting beliefs, such as, "I'll never be good enough." Now, let's add societal pressures into the mix. Social media amplifies these insecurities by presenting curated images of perfect lives. Seeing others achieve success or appear happy triggers feelings of inadequacy, further reinforcing the idea that they don't measure up. Step 2. Internal struggles lead to poor decisions. When you're trapped in a cycle of self-doubt, it becomes difficult to make decisions that honor your worth. For example, you might stay in a toxic relationship because you believe no one else will love you. You might avoid pursuing opportunities because you fear failure or rejection. You might tolerate disrespectful behavior from others because you've been conditioned to think you don't deserve better. These poor decisions, in turn, validate your negative beliefs. Staying in a toxic relationship reinforces the idea that you're unworthy of respect. Avoiding opportunities confirms the belief that you're incapable of success. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy that keeps you stuck. Step 3. Breaking the cycle requires awareness and action. The good news is that this cycle can be broken. Awareness is the first step, recognizing how external influences fuel internal struggles and vice versa. Once you understand this dynamic, you can take action to disrupt it. For instance, if societal pressures are affecting your self-esteem, limit your exposure to harmful content on social media. Follow accounts that promote authenticity and positivity instead. If toxic relationships are dragging you down, set boundaries or distance yourself from those individuals. And if internal struggles like perfectionism are holding you back, practice self-compassion and celebrate small wins along the way. As Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, once said, "Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response." You have the power to choose how you respond to external influences and internal doubts. Use that power wisely. 4. A story of resilience, breaking free from disrespect. Let me share a story that illustrates how interconnected these factors can be, and how breaking the cycle transforms lives. It's about Emily, a woman in her late 20s who struggled with self-respect for years. Emily grew up in a household where criticism was the norm. Her parents constantly compared her to her older sister, who excelled academically and athletically. Despite working hard, Emily always felt overshadowed and inadequate. These childhood experiences planted seeds of self-doubt that followed her into adulthood. In her personal life, Emily attracted partners who mirrored her low self-esteem. One boyfriend, in particular, would belittle her ambitions and dismiss her feelings. At work, she tolerated disrespectful behavior from colleagues because she feared speaking up would lead to conflict or judgment. Over time, Emily realized she couldn't continue living this way. She began unpacking the roots of her struggles. External influences. She identified how societal expectations and past relationships had shaped her beliefs about herself. Internal struggles. She confronted her perfectionism and fear of failure, which kept her trapped in cycles of self-criticism. Chapter 3: Building Blocks of Self-Respect. Now that we've explored the roots of disrespect, it's time to focus on actionable steps to rebuild your self-respect. In this chapter, we'll uncover the essential building blocks of self-respect, practical strategies you can implement in your daily life. From recognizing your worth to setting healthy boundaries and prioritizing self-care, these tools will empower you to transform your mindset and create healthier relationships. As Lao Tzu wisely said, "Care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner." Let's break free from that prison and reclaim your self-worth. 1. Know your worth, the foundation of self-respect. The first step toward building self-respect is understanding your inherent value. You don't need external validation to prove your worth. You are valuable simply because you exist. However, many of us struggle to internalize this truth due to past experiences or societal conditioning. Here's how you can reconnect with your worth. 1.1. Recognize your unique qualities. Each of us has a unique set of strengths, talents, and qualities that make us irreplaceable. Take some time to reflect on what makes you special. Are you a great listener? Do you have a knack for problem solving? Perhaps you're incredibly creative or deeply empathetic. Write down these qualities and revisit them whenever you feel doubt creeping in. For example, if you're known for your kindness, remind yourself how much comfort and support you provide to others through this trait. If you excel at leadership, acknowledge how this skill helps you inspire and guide those around you. By celebrating your uniqueness, you reinforce the belief that you matter. A powerful reminder comes from Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Embrace your power and let it shine. 1.2. Practice daily affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements that help rewire your subconscious mind. Repeating affirmations daily can shift your mindset from self-doubt to self-belief. Start with simple phrases like, "I am worthy of love and respect. I deserve happiness and fulfillment. I trust myself to handle challenges." Say these affirmations out loud in front of a mirror, or write them down in a journal. Over time, they'll replace negative self-talk with empowering thoughts. 1.3. Stop comparing yourself to others. Comparison is one of the biggest thieves of self-worth. When you constantly measure yourself against others, you lose sight of your own journey. Remember, everyone has their own struggles and insecurities, even those who seem perfect on the surface. Instead of comparing, focus on progress. Ask yourself, how far have I come? What lessons have I learned along the way? What goals am I working toward? As Theodore Roosevelt famously said, "Comparison is the thief of joy." Guard your joy by staying true to your path. 2. Set healthy boundaries, protecting your energy. Boundaries are the invisible lines that protect your time, energy, and well-being. Without them, you risk being taken advantage of or drained by others. Setting boundaries might feel uncomfortable at first, but it's an act of self-respect that communicates your worth. 2.1. Learn to say no without guilt. Saying no is one of the most powerful ways to honor your needs. It doesn't mean you're selfish, it means you're prioritizing your well-being. For instance, if a colleague asks you to take on extra work when you're already overwhelmed, it's okay to decline politely. You might say, "I appreciate your trust, but I need to focus on my current responsibilities right now." Start small. Practice saying no in low-stakes situations, such as declining an invitation to an event you don't want to attend. As you build confidence, you'll find it easier to set boundaries in more challenging scenarios. 2.2. Communicate your limits clearly. Clear communication is key to maintaining boundaries. Instead of expecting others to read your mind, express your needs directly. For example, if a friend consistently interrupts you during conversations, calmly say, "I'd appreciate it if you could let me finish speaking before responding." If someone violates your boundaries, address it immediately. Use I statements to avoid sounding accusatory. For instance, "I feel disrespected when my opinions are dismissed. Can we discuss this respectfully?" Brené Brown emphasizes the importance of boundaries. Daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others. Be courageous. Your peace of mind is worth it. 3. Prioritize self-care, nurturing your soul. Self-care is not selfish, it's essential. Taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental well-being is a form of self-respect. When you prioritize self-care, you send a message to yourself and others that your needs matter. 3.1. Physical self-care. Physical health is the foundation of overall well-being. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, eating nutritious foods, and staying active. Even small habits, like drinking water throughout the day or taking short walks, can make a big difference. For example, Sarah, a busy professional, used to neglect her health because she believed she didn't have time. Once she started incorporating 10-minute morning stretches into her routine, she noticed a significant improvement in her energy levels and mood. Small changes add up over time. 3.2. Emotional self-care. Emotional self-care involves acknowledging and processing your feelings instead of suppressing them. Journaling, talking to a trusted friend, or seeking therapy are excellent ways to release pent-up emotions. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Reaching out is a sign of strength, not weakness. 3.3. Mental self-care. Mental self-care focuses on nurturing your mind. Engage in activities that stimulate your intellect, such as reading, learning new skills, or solving puzzles. Additionally, practice mindfulness techniques like meditation or deep breathing to reduce stress and improve focus. As Audre Lorde poignantly stated, "Caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation." Treat self-care as a non-negotiable part of your routine. 4. Surround yourself with positivity, building supportive relationships. Your environment plays a crucial role in shaping your self-respect. The people you surround yourself with can either lift you up or bring you down. To cultivate self-respect, it's essential to build relationships that nurture your growth and well-being. 4.1. Attract positive people. Positive relationships are built on mutual respect, trust, and encouragement. When you respect yourself, you naturally attract individuals who share these values. These are the people who celebrate your successes, offer constructive feedback, and stand by you during tough times. To attract positive influences, be selective, spend time with people who inspire and uplift you. Avoid those who drain your energy or make you feel small. Lead by example. When you model self-respect, others are more likely to treat you with the same level of respect. As Jim Rohn famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Choose wisely. Your circle should reflect the person you want to become. 4.2. Repair existing relationships. Not all relationships are toxic, some just need repair. If you have strained connections with family members, friends, or colleagues, take steps to mend them. Open communication is key. Express your feelings honestly but respectfully, and listen actively to their perspective. For example, if a friend hurt your feelings, say something like, "I value our friendship, but what happened made me feel disrespected. Can we talk about it?" This approach fosters understanding and strengthens the bond. 4.3. Let go of toxicity. While repairing relationships is important, some connections are beyond saving. If someone consistently disrespects, manipulates, or belittles you, it's time to let go. Holding on to toxic relationships only reinforces feelings of inadequacy and erodes your self-worth. Letting go doesn't mean burning bridges, it means setting boundaries or creating distance. For instance, you might reduce contact with a toxic relative while still maintaining civility during family gatherings. Remember, protecting your peace is non-negotiable. A poignant reminder comes from Maya Angelou. Never allow someone to be your priority while allowing yourself to be their option. Prioritize relationships that honor your worth. 5. A story of transformation, from isolation to connection. Let me share a story that illustrates the power of surrounding yourself with positivity. It's about Alex, a man in his early 30s who struggled with loneliness and low self-esteem for years. Alex grew up in a household where emotional expression was discouraged. As an adult, he found it difficult to connect with others, fearing rejection or judgment. His social circle consisted of acquaintances who often mocked his insecurities or dismissed his opinions. Over time, Alex began isolating himself, convinced that no one truly cared about him. One day, after yet another hurtful interaction, Alex decided he couldn't continue living this way. He began taking small steps toward change. Self-reflection. He identified patterns in his relationships, realizing he had been tolerating disrespect out of fear of being alone. Boundary setting. He distanced himself from toxic individuals and communicated his needs clearly to those who remained in his life. Seeking positivity. He joined a local hiking group, where he met supportive, like-minded people who valued authenticity and kindness. Over time, Alex transformed. He formed meaningful friendships and even reconnected with his siblings, repairing relationships that had been strained for years. His journey proves that surrounding yourself with positivity is a powerful catalyst for growth. Closing thoughts on Chapter 3. The building blocks of self-respect, knowing your worth, setting boundaries, prioritizing self-care, and fostering positive relationships, are interconnected. Together, they create a strong foundation for personal empowerment. By implementing these strategies, you'll not only rebuild your self-respect but also inspire others to do the same. Remember Eleanor Roosevelt's words. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. You hold the power to define how you're treated and how you treat yourself. Use this chapter as a guide to reclaim your dignity and live a life filled with purpose and joy. Chapter 4. Overcoming challenges. Building self-respect isn't always easy. Along the way, you'll encounter obstacles that test your resolve and challenge your progress. In this chapter, we'll address common hurdles, such as setbacks, criticism, and inconsistency, and provide strategies to overcome them. Remember, every challenge is an opportunity for growth. As Helen Keller once said, "Although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of overcoming it." Let's explore how you can rise above adversity and continue your journey towards self-respect. 1. Dealing with setbacks, the art of resilience. Setbacks are inevitable on any journey of personal growth. Whether it's a failed attempt at setting boundaries or a relapse into negative self-talk, these moments can feel discouraging. However, setbacks don't define you, they refine you. Here's how to handle them with grace and resilience. 1.1. Accept failure as part of growth. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's a stepping stone toward it. Every misstep teaches you something valuable about yourself and your approach. For example, if you struggled to say no to a request despite your best intentions, reflect on what made it difficult. Was it fear of conflict? A desire to please others? Understanding the root cause will help you prepare better next time. Instead of viewing failure as a reflection of your worth, reframe it as feedback. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I adjust my strategy moving forward? As Thomas Edison famously remarked after countless failed attempts to invent the light bulb, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Adopt this mindset, and you'll see setbacks as opportunities rather than roadblocks. 1.2. Practice self-compassion. When setbacks happen, it's easy to fall into the trap of self-criticism. You might berate yourself for not being strong enough, or messing up again. But beating yourself up only prolongs the pain. Instead, practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a friend in a similar situation. For instance, if you slipped back into comparing yourself to others on social media, acknowledge the behavior without judgment. Remind yourself that change takes time and effort. Then, take proactive steps to limit your exposure to triggers, such as unfollowing accounts that make you feel inadequate. Kristen Neff, a pioneer in the field of self-compassion, emphasizes its importance. Self-compassion provides an island of calm, a refuge from the stormy seas of endless positive and negative self-judgment. Be gentle with yourself, especially during tough times. 1.3. Build resilience through action. Resilience isn't something you're born with, it's a skill you develop through action. After a setback, focus on what you can control. For example, if you felt disrespected in a conversation, plan how you'll assert yourself next time. If you neglected self-care due to a busy schedule, prioritize it in your routine moving forward. Small, consistent actions build momentum and reinforce your belief in your ability to overcome challenges. 2. Handling criticism, finding strength in vulnerability. Criticism is another common obstacle on the path to self-respect. While constructive feedback can be helpful, harsh or unfair criticism can shake your confidence. Learning to differentiate between the two, and responding appropriately, is essential for maintaining your self-worth. 2.1. Differentiate constructive feedback from negativity. Not all criticism is equal. Constructive feedback comes from a place of care and aims to help you improve. For example, a mentor might point out areas where you can grow professionally. This type of criticism is valuable because it's rooted in respect and goodwill. On the other hand, negativity often stems from jealousy, insecurity, or ill intent. If someone criticizes you in a way that feels personal or demeaning, it says more about them than it does about you. Don't internalize their words. Let them roll off like water on a duck's back. 2.2. Respond gracefully. When faced with criticism, pause before reacting. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this feedback valid and helpful? Does it align with my values and goals? If the answer is yes, thank the person for their input and consider how you can apply it. If the answer is no, politely disengage. For example, you might say, I appreciate your perspective, but I disagree. Brené Brown highlights the power of vulnerability in handling criticism. Vulnerability is not winning or losing, it's having the courage to show up when you can't control the outcome. By staying true to yourself, even in the face of criticism, you demonstrate immense strength. 2.3. Don't let others define your worth. Ultimately, your worth isn't determined by others' opinions, it's defined by how you view yourself. When someone criticizes you unfairly, remind yourself of your strengths and accomplishments. Refer back to the list of qualities you celebrated earlier in this audiobook. These reminders will anchor you during moments of doubt. Maya Angelou captures this sentiment beautifully. You alone are enough. You have nothing to prove to anybody. Trust in your inherent value, and don't let external voices diminish it. 3. Staying consistent, building habits that reinforce self-respect. Consistency is the key to lasting change. While motivation may fluctuate, habits provide a stable foundation for growth. In this section, we'll explore how to develop routines that reinforce self-respect and celebrate small victories along the way. 3.1. Develop daily practices. Building self-respect is not about grand gestures, it's about small, consistent actions that accumulate over time. Here are some daily practices you can incorporate into your routine. Morning affirmations. Start your day by affirming your worth. Stand in front of the mirror and say, I am enough, or I deserve respect and happiness. These words will set a positive tone for the rest of your day. Boundary check-ins. At the end of each day, reflect on whether you honored your boundaries. Did you say no when needed? Did you communicate your needs clearly? Celebrate moments when you stood firm and identify areas for improvement. Gratitude journaling. Write down 3 things you're grateful for about yourself. This practice shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant within you. These habits may seem simple, but their cumulative impact is profound. As James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, explains, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Build systems that support your self-respect, and progress will follow naturally. 3.2. Celebrate small victories. Big transformations are made up of countless small wins. Celebrating these milestones keeps you motivated and reinforces your belief in your ability to succeed. For example, if you successfully set a boundary with a colleague, reward yourself with something meaningful, perhaps a favorite meal or an hour of relaxation. If you practice self-compassion after a setback, acknowledge your effort by writing it down in your journal. By celebrating small victories, you create a positive feedback loop that encourages further action. As Vince Lombardi once said, it's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get up. Every step forward, no matter how small, deserves recognition. 3.3. Stay accountable. Accountability ensures you stay committed to your goals. Share your journey with a trusted friend, mentor, or coach who can offer encouragement and hold you accountable. For instance, if you're working on improving your self-talk, ask someone to check in with you weekly to discuss your progress. Alternatively, use technology to track your habits. Apps like Habitica or Streaks gamify the process, making it fun and engaging. Remember, accountability isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. 4. A story of perseverance, from doubt to confidence. Let me share a story that illustrates the power of consistency in overcoming challenges. It's about Rachel, a young woman who struggled with low self-esteem and toxic relationships for years. Rachel grew up believing she wasn't worthy of love or respect. As an adult, she attracted partners who mirrored her insecurities, individuals who belittled her dreams and dismissed her feelings. Despite wanting to change, Rachel found herself stuck in a cycle of self-doubt and unhealthy dynamics. One day, after yet another painful breakup, Rachel decided she couldn't continue living this way. She began implementing small, consistent changes. Daily affirmations. Every morning, she wrote down 3 things she liked about herself, no matter how minor they seemed. Boundary setting. She practiced saying no in low-stakes situations, such as declining invitations to events she didn't enjoy. Self-care routine. She started taking long walks in nature, which helped clear her mind and reconnect with her inner strength. At first, progress felt slow. There were days when old habits crept back in, and Rachel doubted whether she could truly change. But she reminded herself of her why, the desire to live a life filled with dignity and joy. Over time, Rachel transformed. She formed healthier relationships, pursued her passion for photography, and even became a mentor to others struggling with self-respect. Her story proves that consistency, combined with resilience, can lead to extraordinary results. Closing thoughts on Chapter 4. Overcoming challenges is an integral part of building self-respect. Whether it's dealing with setbacks, handling criticism, or staying consistent, each obstacle presents an opportunity for growth. By embracing these challenges with courage and determination, you'll emerge stronger and more empowered than ever before. Remember the words of Nelson Mandela. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Fall, rise, and keep moving forward. You're closer than you think to achieving the self-respect you deserve. Chapter 5. Transforming relationships. When you respect yourself, your relationships naturally improve. In this chapter, we'll explore how cultivating self-respect transforms the way you connect with others, from attracting positive people to repairing existing dynamics and letting go of toxicity. As Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "What you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you say." Your actions rooted in self-respect communicate volumes about who you are, and they inspire others to treat you accordingly. Let's dive into how self-respect reshapes your interpersonal world. 1. Attracting positive people, the ripple effect of self-respect. Self-respect is magnetic. It draws like-minded individuals who value authenticity, kindness, and mutual respect. When you honor your boundaries, prioritize your needs, and celebrate your worth, you create a ripple effect that influences the energy around you. Here's how self-respect helps you attract healthier, more fulfilling relationships. 1.1. Leading by example. People are naturally drawn to those who exude confidence and self-assurance. When you model self-respect, you set a standard for how others should treat you. For instance, if you consistently speak up for yourself or refuse to tolerate disrespect, others will learn to mirror this behavior. Consider Sarah, a young professional who transformed her social circle after embracing self-respect. By asserting her boundaries at work and choosing friends who valued honesty and empathy, she attracted colleagues and companions who genuinely appreciated her contributions. Her story demonstrates that when you lead with self-respect, you inspire others to follow suit. 1.2. Building trust through authenticity. Authenticity is a cornerstone of meaningful relationships. When you respect yourself, you're less likely to compromise your values or suppress your true feelings to please others. This transparency fosters trust, a vital ingredient for strong connections. For example, instead of pretending to agree with someone just to avoid conflict, express your perspective respectfully. While this might feel uncomfortable initially, it lays the groundwork for deeper, more authentic interactions. As Brené Brown reminds us, authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. 1.3. Creating healthy dynamics. Healthy relationships thrive on balance. Both parties contribute equally and respect each other's needs. When you embody self-respect, you establish clear expectations for how you want to be treated. This clarity prevents imbalances, such as one person constantly giving while the other takes without reciprocating. As Maya Angelou wisely noted, "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated." Stand firm in your worth, and watch as healthier dynamics unfold in your relationships. 2. Improving existing relationships, repairing what matters. Not all relationships are beyond repair. Sometimes, existing connections simply need recalibration to align with your newfound self-respect. Here's how to mend and strengthen these bonds. 2.1. Communicating openly and honestly. Open communication is the foundation of any successful relationship. If there's tension or misunderstanding with a loved one, address it directly but kindly. Use I statements to express your feelings without placing blame. For example, instead of saying, "You never listen to me," try, "I feel unheard when I share my thoughts." Follow up with a request for change. "Can we work together to ensure both our voices are heard?" This approach fosters empathy and encourages collaborative problem solving. 2.2. Setting boundaries without guilt. Repairing relationships often involves setting new boundaries. For instance, if a family member tends to interrupt during conversations, calmly state, "I'd appreciate it if you could let me finish speaking before responding." While this might feel awkward at first, it communicates your needs clearly and sets the stage for mutual respect. Remember, boundaries aren't barriers, they're guidelines that protect your well-being while preserving the relationship. As Dr. Henry Cloud, co-author of Boundaries, explains, boundaries define us. They define what is me and what is not me. Respect yourself enough to draw those lines. 2.3. Practicing forgiveness. Forgiveness is a powerful tool for healing strained relationships, but it doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior. Instead, forgiveness allows you to release resentment and move forward with grace. For example, if a friend betrayed your trust, acknowledge their wrongdoing and decide whether reconciliation is possible. If yes, commit to rebuilding the relationship. If no, focus on personal growth and closure. Eleanor Roosevelt captures this sentiment beautifully. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Believe in the possibility of healing, and act accordingly. 3. Letting go of toxicity, making tough decisions for your well-being. While repairing relationships is important, some connections are beyond saving. Holding on to toxic relationships only perpetuates feelings of inadequacy and erodes your self-respect. Learning to let go, whether partially or completely, is a courageous act of self-love. 3.1. Identifying unhealthy dynamics. the first step in letting go is recognizing the signs of toxicity. These include manipulation. The other person uses guilt, threats, or emotional blackmail to control you. Disrespect. They consistently belittle your opinions, dismiss your feelings, or violate your boundaries. Imbalance. One person gives endlessly while the other takes without reciprocating. For example, if a romantic partner repeatedly criticizes your appearance or undermines your achievements, it's a clear sign of disrespect. Similarly, if a friend constantly cancels plans last minute yet expects you to drop everything for them, the relationship lacks mutual respect. As Maya Angelou famously said, "When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Pay attention to patterns of behavior, they reveal the truth about someone's intentions." 3.2. Making tough choices. Once you've identified toxicity, it's time to make decisions that prioritize your well-being. This might involve reducing contact. Limit interactions with individuals who drain your energy or make you feel small. For instance, unfollow social media accounts that trigger negativity or avoid attending gatherings where certain people dominate the conversation. Setting firm boundaries. If complete distance isn't feasible, e.g., family members, establish clear limits. For example, tell a sibling who frequently interrupts you, "I need you to listen when I'm speaking. If not, I'll have to end the conversation." Ending the relationship. In severe cases, cutting ties entirely may be necessary. While this decision can be painful, remember that staying in a toxic connection harms both parties in the long run. Making these choices requires courage, but it's an investment in your mental and emotional health. As Brené Brown emphasizes, daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others. 3.3. Embracing freedom. Letting go of toxicity brings immense freedom. Without the weight of draining relationships, you create space for positivity and growth. You'll find yourself surrounded by people who uplift and inspire you, fostering a sense of belonging and fulfillment. A powerful reminder comes from Steve Maraboli. You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. By choosing to surround yourself with healthy influences, you lay the groundwork for lasting happiness. 4. A story of liberation, breaking free from toxicity. Let me share a story that illustrates the transformative power of letting go. It's about Michael, a man in his late 40s who spent years trapped in a toxic friendship. Michael had known his friend Jake since college. Over the years, their dynamic shifted dramatically. Jake became increasingly critical, often mocking Michael's career choices and dismissing his accomplishments. Despite feeling hurt, Michael stayed silent, fearing confrontation would ruin their decades-long bond. One day, after yet another demeaning comment, Michael reached his breaking point. He realized he couldn't continue sacrificing his self-worth to preserve the friendship. With trembling hands, he wrote Jake a letter explaining how the relationship made him feel and decided to distance himself. At first, the separation felt lonely. But over time, Michael noticed a shift. He started pursuing hobbies he neglected, joined a local book club, and formed new friendships with supportive individuals. Looking back, he realized that ending the toxic connection wasn't just an act of self-preservation, it was an act of liberation. His journey proves that letting go of toxicity creates room for healthier, more fulfilling relationships. As Helen Keller once said, "Although the world is full of suffering, it is also full of overcoming it. Trust in your ability to overcome and thrive." Closing thoughts on Chapter 5. Transforming relationships begins with transforming yourself. When you cultivate self-respect, you naturally attract positive people, repair existing connections, and release toxic ones. Each step strengthens your foundation and enriches your interpersonal world. Remember the words of Oprah Winfrey. Surround yourself with only people who are going to lift you higher. Choose relationships that honor your worth and fuel your growth. By doing so, you'll not only transform your own life but also inspire those around you to embrace authenticity and mutual respect. Audiobook conclusion. Throughout this audiobook, we've explored the transformative power of self-respect and how it impacts every aspect of your life. Let's recap the key lessons. Understanding self-respect. Self-respect begins with recognizing your inherent worth. It's about honoring your values, setting boundaries, and prioritizing your needs without guilt. Identifying the roots of disrespect. We uncovered both internal struggles, like negative self-talk and limiting beliefs, and external influences, such as societal pressures and toxic relationships, that erode self-respect. Building blocks of self-respect. We discussed actionable steps to cultivate self-respect, including knowing your worth, setting healthy boundaries, practicing self-care, and surrounding yourself with positivity. Overcoming challenges. You learn how to handle setbacks, criticism, and inconsistency with resilience and grace. Every challenge is an opportunity for growth. Transforming relationships. Finally, we explored how self-respect reshapes your relationships. By attracting positive people, repairing existing connections, and letting go of toxicity, you create a supportive environment that fosters personal empowerment. These lessons are not just theoretical, they're practical tools designed to help you reclaim your dignity and live a life filled with purpose and joy. Now that you've gained these insights, it's time to take action. Remember, knowledge alone isn't enough. Real change happens when you apply what you've learned. Here's how to move forward. Start small. Begin with one area of your life where you want to build self-respect. For example, practice saying no in low-stakes situations or set aside 10 minutes daily for self-care. Be patient, change takes time. Celebrate small victories along the way, and don't be discouraged by setbacks. Each step forward brings you closer to becoming the best version of yourself. Stay consistent, build habits that reinforce self-respect. Whether it's journaling, affirmations, or boundary setting, consistency is key to lasting transformation. As you implement these strategies, remind yourself of why this journey matters. You deserve to be respected, not just by others but first and foremost by yourself. Trust in your ability to overcome challenges and embrace the beauty of your authentic self. Remember the words of Mahatma Gandhi. The future depends on what you do today. Take the first step now, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never imagined. Thank you for joining us on this empowering journey. Your willingness to invest in your personal growth is a testament to your courage and commitment. We hope this audiobook has inspired you to embrace self-respect fully and provided you with the tools to transform your life. If you found value in this content, please share it with others who might benefit. Together, we can create a ripple effect of positivity and empowerment. Lastly, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Wisdom Audiobooks for more insightful content. Your support means the world to us, and we're excited to continue sharing wisdom that uplifts and inspires. With gratitude and admiration, we leave you with this final thought: true wisdom begins with respecting yourself. Embrace it, nurture it, and let it guide you toward a life of fulfillment and happiness. Until next time, take care and keep shining.